Hello and welcome to another episode of Glam Up Your Life with Katrina V. We're going to be talking about wellness, health and beauty in this episode. I'm very privileged to have my old friend, Dr. Parviz Rashvand with me, and we worked together some 15 years ago, and he is a naturopathic doctor that will tell you things no one else will. Trust me on that one. So we're going to be talking today about anti-aging and how we can grow older gracefully and in full health. So welcome, Dr. Parviz.
It's a pleasure. Good to have you here.
So tell us a bit about your career.
My career. I started my medical training back in 1980s. I'm originally Iranian. At that time, we became paramedics in the war zone. So we gained a lot of experience dealing with physical body injuries, amputations, big wounds, sudden death. That made us really good in surgeries. But when I started internal medicine, shortly after I realized that actually medicine couldn't help people much. The medications were designed to address the symptoms of the disease because the cause of the chronic disease is in most of the cases remains unknown. They cannot understand what happens. It wasn't satisfactory to me, and I witnessed a lot of problems that I didn't like. My expectations was a lot higher than that. So I decided to shift. I studied dentistry for a few years, but it wasn't for me. Then I went to Canada. I became a naturopathic doctor where I was taught how to incorporate the language of nature into medicine. In addition to that, I learned 7 different modalities, including traditional Chinese medicine, homeopathy, herbal medicine, a lot of amazing different sciences in medicine in a kind of scientific way. It was really an amazing push for me to take me where I am today. I came to Dubai. I was registered here as the very first naturopathic doctor from the Western countries. And then I brought with me the very first quantum machine here. These are new technologies that were introduced to the market after the year 2000. Basically, these devices are designed based on the science of quantum mechanics to pick up signal. It's like an electrocardiogram machine, electroencephalogram machine. But quantum means we can step out of the boundaries of time and space, so we can look at the factors of the past, the perception of the people into future. We can see the aura, chakra, emotions, feeling, thoughts, mind. These are all fields of energy that affects our physical body in between. So then I realized that, and I was taught also that the cause of the chronic disease, which will remain unknown to medical doctors mostly, is due to a wrong interpretation a person could give to a difficult experience in the past. So some sort of field of information appears around the physical body that feeds the body, this time with imbalances, with negativity, with problems. Somebody who cannot jump a gap, somebody who doesn't see she's good enough, he's good enough, somebody who criticizes him or herself repeatedly. Some people who can't get over a difficult memory of the past for whatever reason, they become predisposed. Because the fact is that every matter is shaped based on information. You go to a party, imagine they don't know you and there's a lot of people there. You ring the bell, imagine there are a couple of other people with you and you're hungry and you're excited to go in. The host opens the door. She looks pretty nice dress, a glass of champagne or drink in her hand. She looks at you without saying anything. She smiles. She leaves the door open, goes inside. Or she looks at you and there's a frown on her face. In these two scenarios, everything immediately, instantly will change in you. Your blood pressure, your heart rate, no biochemical factor in your body remains the same, including the composition of the sweat on your skin. She didn't even touch you. She didn't even exchange a word with you, just a look. And it was your interpretation, because maybe in the scenario of frowning, she didn't mean to be upset with you. Just before she opened the door, for example, she saw the maid she had hired for that night did something really, really, really ugly. She was furious at her, but there was no time to go and catch her. That frown had nothing to do with you, but your perception of that picture brought information that your brain, like antenna, absorbed. and created all the chemistry or biochemistry related to that perception, and bang, it implemented throughout your body from head to toe. So it changed you. You see, this is it. And I learned this through science of quantum, because in conventional medicine, anything you cannot see, measure, or touch is considered non-scientific. But hey, until recently, the scientists thought the energy of the universe comes from the bright sides, the suns. Now we know that it's less than 5%. More than 95% come from the dark part, which is the dark matter, dark energy. These are all plasmatic field, energy fields, magnetic fields. So that's it. This is how my journey started, from nothing to bring me where I am today. And this is a very exciting science. It helps me to understand the nature of the creation a lot better. Everybody has questions about, what am I? What am I supposed to do here? What will happen to me when I die? Where am I supposed to go? What is the story with the religion? What is heaven? What is hell? What is God? Why should I be a gentleman in my life? Everything can be properly answered using science of quantum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the thing I've always appreciated about you, because you were a GP initially and then you studied naturopathy, correct?
I didn't finish that. No, because of everything happens. Plus there were some other problems. After the revolution in Iran, nothing stayed in the right way. So there was a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of problems. A lot of people had to leave the country because of a lot of other problems. So anyways, that wasn't for me. I couldn't continue because it made me depressed, actually. I witnessed unnecessary deaths in hospital, even though everybody was trying to help. The system, the medical system was wrong. It was not complete. So I looked for something. I needed to have a result. I thought being a doctor means you can help everybody. It's not true.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but what I mean is you have the science background as well as the alternative.
Yes.
And for me, being a holistic therapist for 26 years, I never really have had a doctor. I've never went to doctors. I've always looked out for the alternative way to heal myself. And you know, recently I've worked with you on the high cholesterol that I was diagnosed with, when I was told that there was no other option other than for me to take statins. And I came to your clinic here where you work, Dr. Leila Hariri Clinic in Jumeirah. And I had every confidence that you would help fix that for me. And, you know, if I didn't have that knowledge that there was something other than mainstream medical offerings, then, you know, I'd be stuck on statins, which is a very bad medicine to take. You cured me of that quite easily within 2 months of taking natural medications that are, you can tell us about them, because I find these supplements very fascinating. And I'm great and I'm fine, and I've always been healthy my whole life. And, you know, I think more people should know and understand what it is that you have to offer. So tell us about these supplements.
I'm not going to go into details, but we picked up other stuff with you as well, which had been there and kind of dormant. And then we saw it, and then you
and the liver, the fatty liver.
And then some sort of microbes were there.
Yeah.
We got rid of all of it, mostly. Yeah, because you see, if you look at the nature, obviously there's two major aspects of that. One is the physical part. The other one is the information or the energy part. Now, the science of conventional medicine, let's say the science of conventional biology, looks at physical evidence only. X-rays, MRIs, CT scan, blood tests, physical examination, that's all. They can never understand about the fields of energy which is constantly feeding the body, as the example I just gave you a few minutes ago. The fact is that when you have a piece of food in your hand, it looks like food in most of the cases, but actually it's not food, because of the genetic modification, the nature of the food is completely changed. Most of the food available to us, or in large categories, there are GMOs. Large long-term storages kills a lot of delicate compounds in the food, passing through X-ray machines for scanning, using pesticides, herbicides, a lot of chemicals, flavor enhancers. The American food industry utilizes around 10,000 chemicals in processing food. There should be none. Okay, when we consume that, in our body, this food or whatever it is going to be disintegrated into small little pieces to be absorbed. So what about all those nasty chemicals? You take strawberry, naturally it lasts only one night. You buy American strawberry from any big supermarket, which has been taken almost a week to be there on the shelf, to be transported, to be available to you to buy, and then you take it home and you leave it on the table outside the fridge. It stays another 2 weeks. So what is this? That no bacteria could even get close to it.
Yeah,
this
scary.
is important when you talk about concept of health. Unlike the conventional definition of health, which says health is the absence of disease, this is absolutely not enough. Health is the state of balance. Balance between the physical parts of the body, balance between our emotions. Somebody who's angry all the time, who's upset all the time, who's depressed all the time, they can never be healthy. Balance in our thoughts, the state of mind. Belief, somebody believes they are not good enough. Somebody believes they will be punished by God. Somebody believes they've never been loved. They can never act normal. They can never achieve to their highest potential as it was supposed to be.
So how can you help them?
With the science of quantum, we see things. You know, my appointments are about 1 hour. I sit down, I listen to their story completely. I ask a lot of questions about everything. I look at my machine, which is signaling. These are biofeedback systems, sends a signal and checks your reactions instantly at the physical and the non-physical part. And I look at these signals and I understand how these messages mean, what they do mean in the context of you and your life. That starts making sense to me. These are not diagnostic systems to just diagnose somebody with chronic fatigue syndrome to me. No, it helps me to get to the core of the problem. What happened? And then bang, at the age of 5, something happened, a sexual trauma happened to a little child. It stayed, even though they didn't remember it, they start to remember it later. And unless that trauma is resolved, the actual disease will stay. So this is the help that I get from the quantum machine. And this is
and this is what I love about your work, because you do go to the core issue, whereas, you know, normal pharma medications just mask the problem. They don't cure it.
Actually, these doctors are absolutely wonderful. They go through very difficult training. They have helped a lot throughout centuries. There's absolutely no doubt to compromise their work. We add to them. They just saw from one side. Now with our system, we can see from the other perspectives as well. So it gives us a better understanding of the truth. You know, there's a difference between reality and the truth. In reality, we're sitting here, we see somebody passing by. We can describe that person as a lady, gentleman, dressed like this, well-dressed, handsome, clean, or not. But there could be the devil in him or the angel in him. We don't see that. That is the truth. With science of quantum, we step beyond the boundaries. Why do you think that our eyes cannot see X-ray, gamma, radio waves, microwaves, and we see only the little spectrum of visible light in the sunlight? Actually, that proportion of the visible light, that's 7 colors, which, by the way, if you go a little above purple, is ultraviolet, we cannot see. If you go a little below red, is infrared, we cannot see, is only one portion out of 10 billion portions in the same beam of light. We see only one. We take 1 dirham out of 10 billion dirham, we think we see everything. There's a reason for that, because in this life, in this material world, we're not supposed to see everything. We're supposed to go through a fresh experience, so that by our experience, by our learning, by enhancing the level of consciousness in us, we determine the place that we're supposed to move to. Yeah, nothing comes random. This is another big difference between conventional medicine or conventional biology and quantum medicine, is that they say, biology says everything is a result of millions of billions of accidents, and whatever that the state fit the best, it stayed around. That's not true. There is absolutely no randomness. We can talk about these things a lot in details, but I'm not going to go to that. Otherwise, people will be confused to hear me for the first time.
Okay, so let's talk about anti-aging. Now, vitamin D is apparently 95% of the world population are lacking in it, and definitely in Dubai, because although the sun shines every day of the week, we're never in it enough. So what's your recommendations for that? I mean, I know that I was recently very low in it, and you gave me 3 massive doses of it, and it really does make the world of difference. And I think as an aging woman, vitamin D is super important. Can you explain a little bit?
There's a lot to talk about, let's say, vitamin D and the quality of the vitamin D that our body needs at the cellular level. Basically, as you said, to be exposed to the sunlight, the cholesterol in our skin turns into vitamin D. This is a special form of vitamin D because it goes through a lot of different processes. But there's so much more. It's not just that. Yes, you're right. In hot climates like here, everybody tries to avoid sunshine, especially Muslim women who are covered all the time. They become mostly deprived with vitamin D, so they have to take supplements or they have to expose themselves in their privacy under the sunshine occasionally so that the body can absorb it. But there's a lot more. If I want to give a simple definition about what is aging, or let's say what is premature aging, is that every breath we take, it burns something in us. So it breaks things. So they have to be fixed. Now, if my body is capable of fixing the errors as fast as they appear, we don't age. If the number of the errors or the prevalence of the errors exceeds the power of rectifying it, then we remain with more and more and more unresolved issues in us. This is called premature aging. What causes premature aging? At the physical level, toxins. When at the time of birth until roughly around puberty, there's about 800 million tiny blood vessels in our body. From the puberty and on, we lose about 10 million of them every year. So we lose circulation. When circulation is lost, tissue will die. First, it starts microscopic, and then slowly by aging, by time, it becomes more and more. Zero circulation, 100% dead. Reduced circulation could be heart attack, could be stroke, could be lack of enough supply of blood, which is oxygen, vitality, food, removing the waste from the tissues will diminish. So we go through that. This is the physical. And a lot of things like at the molecular level, they call it free radicals, for example. Anything that if sticks to the cell, it breaks them. It causes a hole in the surface of the cell membrane. This is a problem. At the non-physical level, stress.
Huge, right?
Stress. Find somebody in our society who has no stress. It doesn't matter. Some people are stressed because of the lack of money or a difficult partner. Some people are stressed because of not being able to achieve what they want. Some people are stressed because they can't sleep. Or some people are stressed because they don't believe in themselves. For example, it doesn't matter the cause. Stress is a fight or flight. When we are fighting, we need a lot of circulation to our arms and legs, or the same as running away from a danger, yeah? So the circulation is pulled out of the viscera and pushed into the arms and legs to support that. If you become stressed like a gazelle which is being chased by a tiger, the moment that gazelle runs away and the threat is done, it goes back to its normal condition and starts grazing. With us, our stress stays. We get up with stressful thoughts. We go to work with stressful thoughts. We are eating but thinking about stressful thoughts. We go to bed to sleep, we are thinking about, or we're under a lot of stress, either the news or the problems at home. It never stops. This is a very important cause of predisposition to acidifying and then loss of tissue and then accelerated premature aging.
So what's the solution?
The solution, first of all, I always tell myself when I become conscious of my condition, or to my loved ones or to my patients, that we need to accept the life the way it is. If I am insufficient in something, it's okay, it's supposed to be like that. Nobody is perfect. When I accept this, I stop fighting in me. Then I look for a better solution. How can I improve myself? In the physical life, I look for better food. I try to pick what I am buying. You go and buy eggs. How many different forms of eggs do you see out there?
Yeah.
Prices from a pack of 6 from 3 dirham to, I don't know, 25 dirhams. What is the difference? They all are eggs. When they make it and they make omelette for you or whatever, they all look the same. They taste the same, for example. But what is the big difference in them? You look for something that has more natural vibration in it. Our body is from the nature. If anything comes to us, whether it's a thought, it's an energy, or it's a food I put in my mouth, which vibrates according to the laws of nature, is recognized by my body. Otherwise, no. Think about what I just said earlier about genetic manipulation, about toxins, about hormones, about stabilizers, chemicals that are used. When we eat those food, we bombard our body with, in many cases, irreversible toxicity. And then now the liver, the blood, the organs, they all go through troubles. Sometimes the body cannot excrete these toxins properly. They stay behind. And this will push the body to further degenerations in future faster than anything you can ever imagine. So food is the most important medicine of all. Unfortunately, despite I know that the authorities here are trying their best, we don't have access to a lot of good quality food because there's no agricultural land here. Things have to be imported. So the rules and regulations have to be harder on importation of the food so that people will stay safer. The same as with water. The same as with the quality of the air that we breathe. The vibration of our nature. What do you see natural around you or what you don't see natural around it? This is all affecting you.
I mean, I know that you offer ozone here in this clinic. Let's talk about ozone because I have had a course of treatment in the past. It's a very natural way to sustain your health and wellness. And what do you say about that?
I started ozone therapy back in 2013. I was trained with one of the most famous anti-aging physicians and researchers in America, Dr. Frank Schallenberger. I spent 13 days with him and I learned everything about ozone. It's a miracle. For example, if we give ozone to somebody who wants to go through surgery, before and after, they heal so much faster that in most of the cases, the surgeons will make a comment, wow, what are you doing? You're 2 weeks ahead of healing. Because ozone will improve the quality of storable energy in our cells. We call it ATP. This is a biochemical compound produced by a little organelle inside our cell called mitochondria. When we are young, there's a lot of mitochondria in our cells. When we go through aging, then this number of the mitochondria starts to decline. If you do exercise, you increase them again. You put demand on your muscle for more energy. Energy in our body either has to create the warmth on our body to keep our 37-degree temperature in us, or to give you power to move, to talk, to sleep, to digest your food and everything, or you need some part of it like a credit to keep in your bank account. It's called the ATP. Anytime the body needs to repair, it takes the ATP to provide the energy necessary for the repair. That's why ozone before and after surgery does magic, really. So regularly, if people take ozone therapy occasionally, it is guaranteed to make them younger because it improves their ability to correct the errors faster than before.
And explain the procedure?
The procedure is simple. There is an IV line that has to be installed. The only problem is the little needle that they have to put in your blood, in your blood vessels. They take about 50 ml. There are different machines that is available in here now in the country, but I found some of them a little bit too invasive. The one that I have is not because of what I have, because I go for them. I say, okay, which one can I use? I choose something that is less invasive. It does not cause side effect. We take about 50 ml of the blood. We put it in the 250 ml of saline in the IV. We ozonate it to 100% with a specific concentration of ozone that is required. And then we shoot it back to the body. Now, in the meantime, we can add vitamins, whatever else that we want at the bottom, at the end of it. So it rejuvenates the body. It doesn't give you suddenly a burst of energy that you could run for another 2 hours. No. It's not that. Remember, it's the storable energy. It helps your body repair faster. It helps you to age slower. That is guaranteed.
No, I mean, when I have it, I do feel immediately better. I just feel not as tired or a little bit more energy. But yeah, you're right. It is subtle. But the people I speak to that have experienced it all say they felt much better after having it. And I believe it was widely used for cancer patients as well.
Absolutely. Because cancer inside the tumor is fermentation. Like diabetes, there is no oxygen inside.
Yeah.
If you could send oxygen, could reach inside, you actually slow it down, or you could stop it, or you could reverse it. Yeah. We could inject ozone into different parts of the body. for damaged discs in the neck, I don't know, lower back, middle back. We can inject ozone with certain concentration. And of course, I use a lot of different modalities to correct the damaged disc. Until today, this is 21 years of working here since 2013 now, 11 years of my experience with ozone. I've never had any failure to help people with damaged discs, whether in the neck or anywhere in through the spine, to cancel their surgeries. They don't need to go through surgeries anymore. Not even one single failure. It may take about 6, 7, 8 therapies in about 2 to 3 week time, but miracle happens.
Amazing.
We could inject it to, according to Frank Schallenberger, any place that there's a problem or pain, you can inject ozone in there. Shoulder, other area, into knee, for example. Last time, like about 6 months ago, I had some sort of nagging problem with my knee because I had a knee accident when I was young, motorbike accident, and this knee has been a little bit weaker. I sat down and I injected ozone into my own knee just to experience how it is. And in about 1 week later, until today, never had any issue with that anymore. That's it.
Amazing.
Now, none of these ideas is a claim for any cure. I don't know. I never talk about curing because people have to be responsible for their own health. I just facilitate improvements towards perfection. How much we can achieve is up to the patient, and I do my best for that.
No, it's amazing. I mean, I tell all my friends about you because even just to come for an inquisitive consultation with you, they will always find out something that they never knew about themselves, whether it's about their energy, their thoughts, their feelings, their physical attributes, some organ of the body that's not functioning properly.
We can see the auras, we can see chakras, we can see perception of the people towards their future. I tell them, this is how you feel about future, don't you? Says, do you know that it's in your energy system? I can see it. Something has happened in the past. You need to let it go. What is it? Are you comfortable to talk about it? And then they open up and then say, wow, they've been carrying a bag of crazy, difficult memories of something ridiculous in the past that is paralyzing them until now. Unless they let it go, it will stay with them. I tell them it's like you're carrying a bag of garbage on your shoulder which smells really bad, and you dress up very nicely to go to a beautiful party. You smell bad. You have to dump it. It's not for you. That, even though it might have been really hard for you, it made you who you are today. So I tried to change that memory into something positive, that difficulty. Then this is how we can get rid of the trauma, to be conscious about it, to know that, oh, this is in me, to accept it, and to use it as a platform to jump into a brighter future.
But then your machine also balances.
It does.
Out.
It does because it's a biofeedback. It can correct mathematically whatever, like a spike of energy that is inappropriate. It can produce some sort of energy, like mathematics. We can get rid of inappropriate borders or something, vectors or something like that. It does that. But we cannot call it a cure or treatment or anything like that. We help to balance the information, and then the body starts to become balanced. Especially people take responsibility and they follow the information. If they see there that they cannot eat sugar because they have fungus, if they follow, we can get rid of the fungus. If they go out and have a couple of Coca-Cola or something sweet, and they come and tell me, I swore I didn't, I'm a professional, I know, but I cannot confront it with them like that. But I tell them, okay, you need to be careful. Then it's out of my control. Otherwise, improvements are guaranteed with my medicine, with my work. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's like the work that I do. It's all about balancing someone's energy field. And if you're in balance, then you're okay.
Yeah.
IV drips. What do you think about the IV drips and the vitamins that we can have boosters of?
A lot of these things are basically commercial or based on the laws and regulations of conventional medicine. But at the same time, sometimes we are having problem with some deficiencies because it's not that everything we eat we can absorb. A lot of us, because of the simple fact of stress, we lose the ability to absorb. When there's not a good circulation here and blood is pulled out into the extremities, the system becomes cools down, and it loses the ability to produce enough enzymes, hormones, digestive juices. So we cannot digest properly, we cannot absorb completely. To get rid of the nutritional deficiencies, in some cases, they could be very helpful. I use them sometimes, in the right way. But thinking about everybody needs them all the time, I don't think so. It's not like that. No.
And then, you know, with people, if they want a specific thing to do with feeling better, wellness, you know, to feel young and vibrant, what would you suggest they do with you?
Keep a little smile on their face. Imagine you're driving and suddenly something happens that makes you really angry. And in that moment, you remember this conversation now, that put a smile on your face, even by force. It takes only a few seconds to reach to your heart. Immediately it will change your energy field. You feel calmer, you feel more relaxed. We need a better circulation. Better circulation could come with a little bit of exercise, with food which is anti-inflammatory, with better sleep, better rest, with letting go of difficult thoughts to be stay more balanced. That's all. And little smile is the taste of the heart chakra. This is the most important antenna we have. This is actually the antenna that sends out the signal about what I am, who I am, to the entire universe constantly. If I'm aware of this, and at the time of trouble, I suddenly become conscious of this and do something about it, as I said, with a little bit of a smile forced on my face, and in a second it reaches to my heart and really makes me feel smile from my heart, I resolve the problem. We need to be conscious. We are not. Like, this subconscious part of the information is a program. By the way, at every second, you, me, every human being is receiving, analyzing, and reacting to 40 billion bits of information per second. Right now that you're sitting like that, your body knows which blood vessels has to remain constricted, which one has to be dilated, how much of thyroid hormone you need, or adrenal hormone, or everything else. And the moment that you want to change your position, everything has to change to support this movement. Between 95 to 99% of the time, we just work based on this program. If we're not aware, we drive home and then we don't remember which route we took. I don't even remember how I got here. I'm a driver because
How many times have we done that?
because it is the autopilot. The key is to become conscious to what we are, to the situation, to accept it and try to do something about it, because you're precious.
Yeah.
You're important. It doesn't matter who you are. The fact that you are living in this body, it means the entire universe is supporting you. If you were not important, even if you are poor, even if you are short, even if you are fat, even if you are, according to your standard, not beautiful enough, the universe is in love with you. Everything is created for you.
Amazing.
So if you realize that, then you understand what is the consciousness of the creation. Then you realize that the same God, which in physics we call it consciousness, is nothing but 100% pure and unconditional love. It gives, even if I do wrong, it still gives, hoping that I wake up and I do something, because the moment that I act or I think or I perceive something, I generate signals of energy. Energy will never be destroyed. Masaru Emoto, in the book of The Hidden Message in Water, shows how a word written on a paper stuck to the bottle of water could change ultimately the crystal of the same water. It's not that the water can read, it's the energy of the mind that is implemented. So energy is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you realize, okay, I am safe. I am secure. I'm loved. Really, it's okay if I don't have enough. It's waves. One day will come, I will have a lot. Like our heartbeat, everything is like that.
Everything.
Yeah.
Nothing stays the same,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Inflammation. It's a huge problem for an aging person. How can we resolve that? I know that when I worked with you, as soon as I sorted out my liver, the inflammation got 100 times better.
When we talk about inflammation, there are three characters for that. Imagine you just hit yourself hard on your skin with your finger. In about a few seconds, you see a band which becomes red, it becomes raised, and when you touch it, it becomes hot. So these are the three signs of the inflammation. When tissue is inflamed, because it swells up, it increases the pressure, so circulation starts to reduce, because also water is pushed out of the blood vessels into the tissue to create that swelling. So circulation is compromised. Plus, a lot of inflammatory cytokines are there, which trigger more of negative cascade, biochemical cascade in our body. The best way to control inflammation is to understand the cause of it and do something to change that, and take inflammatory food, anti-inflammatory food, anti-inflammatory remedies.
What would be anti-inflammatory food?
Anything that is green. Because if you look at chlorophyll, the molecular structure of chlorophyll is exactly similar to hemoglobin of our blood. The only difference is that instead of iron, which makes our blood red, it has magnesium. Now, magnesium is an element of relaxation. It relaxes a spasm. It means when tissue is under spasm because of inflammation, when it is relaxed, then circulation starts to improve. It can get rid of the waste. It can get rid of the extra water and fluid. It could improve the cellular access to food, to oxygen, to fresh stuff. This is the way it is. I am a meat eater, okay? I disagree with people who wants to force somebody else to stop eating meat. People have to have a choice. But eating good quality food, whether it is meat or vegetable, is really important, okay? Stay in balance. Food which cause inflammation include processed food, sugar, chemicals,
alcohol,
excessive amount of caffeine, excessive amount of alcohol. You know, I have learned, for example, not to tell people, hey, don't smoke, because everybody knows more or less about the side effect of smoking. And sometimes, according to my experience, I see this. Those cigarettes will help people in terms of stress better than any anti-stress remedy you could ever give them. But if I see somebody who's smoking like chimney, or they have heart problem and a smoker, I say, okay, what are you doing? Slow it down. The biggest problem with cigarette is the chemical in it. For example, 4,700 chemical in a cigarette. The natural tobacco, 0. It's like coffee. Good coffee or processed coffee. Huge difference. So I don't mind. You want to have coffee? No problem. Please enjoy. Take a good quality coffee. Not Nescafe. I'm not going to mention brands, but no processed coffee. You know, avoid sugar, avoid greasy food. Oil is really important. Most of the cooking oil, 99% of the cooking oils available out there are not healthy. You have to know what cooking oil you should use.
Coconut oil, they say, because it doesn't...
It has to be extra virgin and organic. Otherwise, tons of chemical in it. But it makes everything taste like coconut. A lot of people don't like that. Extra light olive oil is one of them. It has a high tolerance for heat if it is authentic oil. Natural ghee, which is the butters, the oil, the fat of the butter. But imagine the sheep or the cow was grazing naturally on the top of the mountain, a small little shrub. There is a lot of omega-3 stuff in that, rather than keeping the animals in the factory and feeding them with genetically modified wheat, soya, and corn.
But how do you know? How do you know?
I know. You should know. I teach people. I do grocery shopping for my home, but I buy different things from different places. I've learned that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a minefield out there, and I think we have to look at the labeling on foods.
Absolutely.
And you know, choose appropriately.
Even more than that, touch it. You want to buy fruit? Touch it, feel it, smell it. If good smell, if you feel good, then buy it. If no smell, or it feels greasy or waxy or looks not fresh, not happy, ignore, don't buy it.
They say that you should clean your vegetables and bicarbonate of soda.
All of them will help, because too much pesticide and herbicide and stuff is constantly being used. You know, the regulations of a food industry has to be modified sometime sooner or later. You know, it just we have reached to that level.
What would be some good supplements to take to counteract that kind of thing?
I cannot say that, because it pretty much depends on what people need and how their health condition is. But as I said, focus on the food. If we eat good quality food, not necessarily a lot of it, if we have good quality water to drink, if we can get rid of the stress by being aware of that and knowing that, okay, I'll do something about it and putting an action in that. having a good quality sleep, a better relationship, lesser expectations from ourselves, from our spouses, from our environment, everything will change.
Sleep. Now that's
Sleep
a
is really
huge thing,
important,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
How many hours a night should we have?
Depends. Sometimes people need only 4 hours. Sometimes they are not satiated even with 9, 10 hours. It's different. But as long as you feel fresh in the morning, it should be good enough. But going to bed earlier is the key.
Yeah,
not
they
to
say
stay up
10
too late.
o'clock. 9:30,
Because
10 o'clock.
according to Chinese medicine calendar, from 11 p.m. to 1 and 1 to 3 is the time to re-energize gallbladder and liver. So you exchange things with your environment. That's the whole idea. You have a better detoxification. You get rid of the toxin. And while you're sleeping, a lot of hormones and enzymes and other stuff that you will need them the next day are going to be manufactured in your body. So sleep is important, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So how can people find you? What would you suggest they come to you as a first consultation?
Most of the time, people who come to me, they come because they have some sort of chronic disease, not necessarily a disease. Or there are some portions who want to become healthier as well. They don't have any problem. They just want to be better. I can see anybody from an unborn child in the womb of the mother until late elderly, no problem. Everything is possible because there is always room for improvement. How to access me? I have a website, drparviz.com, drparviz.com. We can put it under this video.
Yeah, we'll do
and I
it
have
for you.
Instagram channel and everything like that, yeah.
And a final word, what would you say to people that want longevity and health as we age?
Be happy with what they are. It's okay to try to achieve more, but less conflict inside our mind. If we are happy by looking at ourselves in the mirror in the morning, say, "Good morning, sweetheart," to yourself. Kiss your hand, because it's not stealing. Even though maybe this face is not the way that you want it to be, this will create less and less conflict. When there's less conflict, there's less friction in you. You live longer and healthier, that's for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think we're all much too critical for ourselves.
Exactly.
Well, Dr. Parviz, thank you so much for spending this hour with me. It was very informative. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. We come to the end of another podcast with Katrina V. And until next time, stay beautiful, stay glamorous, and most importantly, stay healthy.